Hey guys, this is 18-2. Welcome back to another episode of Zoo Tycoon Complete Collection. In the last part, we bought some really tasty fish. The Atlantic swordfish and the bluefin tuna, which I would love to get those things. Those things that are way smaller in the game than they are in real life. In this part, we are actually still on boned fish. And I think this is the last time... No. The second to last time that I will have 4 animals in a category. So, the next 2 boned fish, as I mentioned, also ray-finned. Specifically ray-finned. That's a category. I think I'll open up with the one that doesn't require as big of an exhibit. That's there. And this over to there. And this come over here. Yes, the third ray-finned fish is the great barracuda. Growing up was one of my favorite marine animals, and to this day is one of my favorite marine animals to say the name of. Just barracuda just sounds good. It just sounds so good. I'd like to mention that barracudas tend to live in shallower water. As I mentioned, every single time that a shallow fish or shallow water fish wants to be in deeper water. Rocks, foliage, they like seagrass. How much seagrass do you want? That much. And let's grab the rocks. Alright, and let's get them taken care of. There you go. You get assigned there, and I need a tank filter here. Alright, great barracuda. You know, this kind of looks like, blast, I'm mixing up mackerel and sardine in my head. But just with the art styles reminding me of something that's not a predatory fish. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna read. I think that's a good way to say fewer stupid things. No, it's not. The great barracuda is the largest member of the barracuda family. Its scientific name, Spirena barracuda, comes from the Greek word for hammer, a reference to the body shape of this fish. Hang on. Reference to hammer for the... Do any of you own a hammer that's shaped like a barracuda? Any of you? I don't. I've never seen one. Anyway, the great barracuda can grow to be 10 feet long, though most adults are less than 5 feet in length. Some of these fast-moving fish have even been known to attack swimmers and divers. Yes, little fun fact there. Grown barracuda schools will hunt larger prey because they're a schooling fish and they can do that. The great barracuda is a light blue fish with silvery sides and a lighter belly. The lighter coloration on the belly acts as camouflage, helping to convince prey below that they are only looking up at the sky. The great barracuda is designed for speed, having a tapered head and a cylindrical body. They have been known to swim at speeds over 30 miles per hour. Okay, I need to mention what tapered head means. It means it's widest at the base of the head and it gets narrower as it reaches forward. Because there are multiple ways to have a tapered head, this is the specific tapering of the barracuda. Like all fish, the great barracuda uses gills to breathe. As water flows across the gills, a process called diffusion allows oxygen from the water to enter the great barracuda's blood vessels, while waste carbon dioxide is returned to the water. The great barracuda is well known for its strong bite. When attacking a human, this bite can sever an arm or leg. Barracudas seem drawn to attack shiny objects, like the valve on the tank of a diver, bright lights, or things with sharp, jerky movements. For the most part, however, the great barracuda leaves humans alone. Even in cases where they've been attacked, most are not fatal. Well, they wouldn't be. They are not designed to really do much damage to humans. They prey on things smaller than them, so they can do a quick, powerful bite and then eat it. They don't want to get in a long, drawn-out fight. General rule of the wild: if it's a small, slim creature that hunts, it looks for prey that it can kill within seconds. Because the things that are good for taking out things in seconds and fast speeds are very inefficient for long drawn-out fights. The great barracuda prefers to eat fish and other small marine creatures, not humans. This means that great barracudas are piscivores, a fish that eats other fish. Some of their preferred foods are herring, sardines, mojaras, young parrotfishes, gobies, silversides, anchovies, grunts, small mullets, and jacks and cephalopods. They prefer to feed on schools of fish, chasing them to wear them out, and then chopping their victims in half with their powerful jaw. Yeah, chasing a school of fish is efficient because, I mean, you only need a few of them to bite in order to eat. Great barracudas are found throughout the world's tropical and subtropical oceans, except for the eastern Pacific. They are generally found in shallow waters, migrating to spawn each April. Although adults tend to be solitary, the young are often found in large groups and have been known to use cooperative hunting techniques. Young great barracudas often live in seagrasses or beds of mangroves during the first year of life. The coloration of juvenile great barracudas tends to match these areas, providing them some safety from predators while they mature. Once they are grown, they tend to be found alone, often in coral reefs. Now, continuing with my data. It doesn't have their weight, and my searching said they averaged 50 pounds and also they averaged 50 kilograms. 50 kilograms is 100 pounds. I had to dig to find that number. Given that the great barracuda is 5 feet long, I'd probably lean more towards 50 kilograms because it's got a lot of muscle in order to be able to dart and chomp. They tend to live up to 14 years in the wild. They are not endangered or threatened. They say they're basically a light blue. In all the pictures that I saw, they look more silver to me. I also don't really have that great of an eye for colors, so. When they lay eggs, they lay about 1,000 eggs, which is surprisingly few eggs for the fish that we've encountered. And let's see, what else do I have? Their natural predators are sharks and orcas. Yeah, there's really not too much else to say on the great barracuda. It's a really deadly fish. It's an efficient hunter. It has been known to school while younger and be solitary elsewise. Yeah, that's a word. So, let's see. The next and last of the ray-finned bony fish. Let's get this over here. Is another I think that'll work. Trust me, that name will make sense. I just don't know whether it'll make sense. I don't know why I just did that. That was not my brightest idea. They have toys? Also, I'm going to mention this right now. As you can tell from the fact that they want really deep water, these are another fish that dwell in the shallows. If you look at pictures of moray eels, you'll notice they're all in crevices, like in shallow coral reefs or just other shallow water. If you want to find a picture of an eel swimming, you have to actually look for it. Alright, rocks, foliage, toy. They like the sunken log. That's their toy. The foliage they would like... Yeah, they are primarily Atlantic. I guess they would like this one or that one. Strictly speaking, they should like this, but they don't. So let's try the red gorgonian. As I mentioned, they live in reefs, so logically speaking, they should like the coral. Especially because these are not exclusive to the Atlantic Ocean, just primarily in the Atlantic Ocean. More specifically, primarily in the Western Atlantic, even more specifically, mostly around the Gulf of Mexico coast. That's not helping my case, is it? Alright, you are over there for reasons I don't understand. Wait, maybe you are exactly where you're supposed to be, and I'm just an idiot because I forgot where I was for a moment. And I need... Okay, and I already got that. Good. So, the green moray eel. Okay, look at that amazing picture. That is incredible. That is also not at all what a green moray eel looks like. Like, at all. There are over 100 species of bottom-dwelling moray eels. The largest of these is Thyrsoida macrurus, the giant moray eel. Like other eels, moray eels belong to the class of bony fish. As I mentioned specifically, ray-finned. You can tell by the award that's blocking the information. I should have read that out, but it doesn't matter. Its fin has the structure of, well, it's an array of bones connected by the tissue. The moray eel has no scales. Instead, a slippery mucus covers its smooth skin for protection. The coloration of the skin also provides this bottom-dwelling animal with camouflage. Although some moray eels blend into the rocky bottom, others are brightly colored. They have small fins used for thrust when swimming or slithering along the ocean floor. Moray eels have a single pair of gill slits. Unlike the gills of other fish, the slits of a moray eels are circular. By keeping its mouth open, the moray eel can increase circulation through its gills to provide oxygen even when still. This is also why it's really hard to find. Well, not really hard to find. Just in comparison, most of the pictures of moray eels that you will find are of the green moray eel in a crevice of some sort, with its head poking out a bit and its mouth open. Because that's mostly what it does. Moray eels have a pair of strong jaws with long pointed teeth. The shape and angle of these teeth prevent prey from escaping once trapped in the moray eel's mouth. The giant morays can grow to be 10 feet long. Most of the other morays are smaller than that, but can still average 2 to 3 feet in length. Yeah, I have these averaging, the green moray averaging 6 feet. While I'm there. Averaging 6 feet, but only weighing about 50 pounds, which is really weird. I think it's another unit mix-up, because some data is in the metric system and some is in the imperial system. I would rather everything be in the metric system, just for hey Santa, just for consistency of units. Okay. Enough griping. Time to continue. The moray eel generally hunts at night and hides during the day. Although they are rumored to attack humans, most moray eels are shy of divers and only attack if provoked. Instead, these fish prefer to feed on fish and mollusks. Moray eels usually have a den or rocky hole in which to conceal themselves while hunting. Often their heads protrude from these holes while they lie in wait for prey. Since most moray eels have poor eyesight, they rely heavily on their sense of smell to hunt. Many of the larger moray eels will prey upon octopi much larger than their own size. Since both eels and octopi like to live in small rocky holes, these two species are often in conflict. Morays often solve this conflict by eating the offending octopus, one tentacle at a time. Moray eels are found in the tropical waters of the Indian, Pacific, and Western Atlantic Ocean. They prefer coral reefs or rocky-bottomed shallow waters. Like all fish, moray eels lay eggs to produce offspring. Okay, side note, we have gone over several fish that don't lay eggs. There are a number of oviviparous fish who have eggs hatch inside of them and they wind up giving live birth with that. They all have eggs that require outside fertilization, but they don't all lay eggs. Okay. These eggs hatch into a tiny leaf-shaped planktonic larva called a leptocephalus. This 3-inch juvenile eel rides the currents for at least 8 months. Many leptocephalus are consumed by the filter feeders of the tropical ocean. The survivors mature into adult eels and settle on the ocean floor or reef surface to search for a lair. Yeah, their larva is basically some zooplankton that grows up to 10 feet long, if it survives. So continuing on, it was really, really hard to get any number for how fast the great moray eel can swim. The only number I could find was 2.5 miles per hour, which, I mean, makes some sort of sense, since it doesn't, it's like a snake, except in water. It hides, wait for its prey to get by, does a quick snap out, grab it, eat it, and be done with it. They tend not to travel much, and they wouldn't need to swim all that much. Let's see here. They tend to live up to 8 years in the wild. They are very obviously solitary creatures. You don't really fit more than one moray eel in a crevice. It's just not a thing. Now, the mucous membrane they have. The reason that the green moray eel is called the green moray eel is because it's brown. But its mucus is a greenish yellow, and that's what gives it its unique green color. Yeah, if you watch something on, if you watch a video on how to prepare green moray eel, you'll be able to see that their skin is not green. They live in tropical reefs and shorelines, but as I mentioned, specifically a lot in the Western Atlantic. They lay 10,000 eggs at a time. Now, as for what they eat more than octopus. They eat fish. I mean, basically everything eats fish. They also eat crab, shrimp, octopus, and squid. And I could not find natural predators, but that could be because the juvenile ones are the prey of filter feeders. The large ones don't have many things that will hunt them, and like sharks and orcas, the things that normally eat everything, are too big to go into crevices. So maybe other eels, maybe octopus. I couldn't find any hard data. And the last thing is their body. You think of it, as much as I say you think of it like a snake. The animators who did Disney's The Little Mermaid did a good job with their depiction of what a moray eel looks like. It's a long, flat body with a tapering, narrowed head. And that's what these look like. It can be hard to see. And especially here, this looks cylindrical, but it's not supposed to be. Green moray eels are flat. Eventually I'm going to have to sell some of these bowhead whales. Anyway, that's it for the ray-finned fish. Next time I think I'll be tackling I think next I have to tackle the mammals, because I think that's the only category with more than one animal in it remaining. Well, anyway, that's enough for now. Please do remember to like or dislike and or comment and or subscribe as the algorithm demands. But for now, this has been 18-2, and I will see you guys next time.